Hello, my name is Peter Kulianos, and today I'm going to be presenting my design of the reconstruction of the reservoirs in Honolulu, Hawaii. Alright, so I'm focused on the Nuuanu Reservoir number 4. It's obviously located in Honolulu. Here to the right is my design. So if you're just looking at the first thing we're focused on, it's just the body of water. There's two parts to it. There's one that's outlined in blue, one that's outlined in orange. So let's go ahead and start with orange. That orange indicates that that's a 12-foot wall. That's going to hold most of the water. Whenever it holds a lot of that water, it's going to flow down, where it says water flow, it's going to flow into the hydroelectric generator. And that's going to go ahead and obviously generate electricity, which is carried out through those black towers, which are the transmission lines. And then the remaining water flows into the second part of the reservoir, which is outlined in blue, which indicates that that's a 6-foot wall. Okay. And then to the right of that, you see those pink cylinders that look like they're connected through pipes, which they would be theoretically. So those lifting systems, there's two of them for the blue outline, and there's one for the orange. The reason why there's two for the blue is because a lot more water is going to be flying or flowing into there, and that's what I think that would flood the quickest because a lot more water is coming into there. So there's two of them to transport that quicker to the backup reservoir, and then there's one lonesome one in the orange, and that's just for safe reasons. If that main reservoir starts getting way too high, for example, it's 12 feet wall, so if it reaches 9 feet, it's gonna kick on and bring it to the backup reservoir, and then the other two, it's a 6 foot wall, so if it reaches 4 feet, they're most likely gonna kick on and then bring it to the backup reservoir. And then focusing on the backup reservoir, it looks like a big red cylinder right now, but actually it's slope. That's why it says emergency slope down there. That's just obviously so it can hold a lot more water. This is designed to hold a lot more water. And if it does fill up, it slides right down the slope. And the reason why I wanted to make it slope was so it doesn't fill up and then just come right out and everything's just all the water's all over the place and everything's flooding. I wanted to make it slope so it can go downhill. All right, so this is a perspective as if someone was standing at that orange wall, the orange outline. If you look to the right and you look at my design, you can see that orange X. That corresponds to where that little stick figure to the left is standing, as well as this little tower, and it looks like a stairway or a bridge. That's actually on my project as well. It's obviously smaller because it's zoomed out, but then right here with the stick figure it's obviously enlarged. So that's what they would be looking at, a big 12-foot wall. And then if you look at my project, you see a blue X on the top of it. That's basically the same thing. If someone were standing at that blue X, they would see instead of a 12-foot wall, a large 6-foot wall. So it would kind of give you a perspective of what it would look like. All right, this is the hydroelectric generator and the transmission line. So to the right is the main body, which would be the orange outline, the main reservoir, which holds a lot more water. It pushes water through a little slope, and then it goes to a turbine. The turbine turns, it cranks up the generator. That generator it creates electricity, and then it's transmitted through the transmission lines, obviously, and then it's taken anywhere that benefits off of electricity, anywhere, companies, houses. And then you see to the left, it's obviously a small body of water, and that's where the 6 feet wall would be, which is the blue outline. And the main reason why I wanted to choose this was not only because Nuuanu was supposed to be a hydroelectric reservoir, but because it's beneficial. You know what I mean? Might as well if you're gonna have that much water come through, might as well make it beneficial. All right, we're focused on the park lifting system here. So to your right is a cylinder, and the first thing you can notice is the hole in the middle of it. That's the inlet piping. That's obviously where the water comes from the initial reservoir through. Obviously, it comes in and then it starts filling up the cylinder. And to your right, you see the level control equipment. That's what detects the amount of water. And hey, when do these pump assemblies need to kick on and take this water out? So at the bottom of the cylinder, you see the pump assemblies. That's what sucks the water up and then pushes it through the internal piping. And then obviously it just follows through into the valve vault. And that's where the water is distributed into my backup reservoir. And then lastly, you see on top of the valve vault and the cylinder is the access hatch, and that's obviously if anyone needs to get in there and there's maintenance that needs to be done or anything else, that's where they would get through. All right, lastly is the backup reservoir. So you see here, you can see a better picture of it. It's no longer flat; it's actually sloped. So I put the dimensions here. The length and the width are 208.71 feet. That's actually equivalent to 6,363 centimeters. And then I raised it up to a height of 8 feet, which is actually equivalent to 243.9 centimeters. So if you were to get the volume, which is length times width times height, you'd be looking at around 9,874,966 liters. That's a lot of water. It's basically, if we were to compare it to a football field, it's basically being a football field with 8 feet walls surrounding it. That's basically what it would be. So if water were to fill that up, I gotta hand it to that storm. And then obviously the emergency slopes were just in case it does fill up. It goes down at a slope at an angle, so it goes downhill and floats away from everything else, not just water piling up around it and just more flooding and flooding. All right, so this is my weighted benefit analysis. These are the 5 criteria that me and my group came up with. So starting at number 1 is safety, number 2 environmental impact, number 3 efficiency, number 4 costs, number 5 looks, and then right under it you see my scale here. So we went ahead and weighted everything. So we weighted safety with 10, environmental impact with 8, efficiency with 6, cost with 4, and then looks with 1. And then to the right of that, option 1 is mine, how I think mine performed. So I rated myself for safety is 8, environmental impact 9, efficiency 10. I'm very confident that it will work. Cost 10. It looks very costly. It might work, but it's going to be a pretty penny. Looks 6. I don't really think anybody would like to see these huge football field like structures that are 8 feet high, but I mean at least it works. And my total would be 258.